Hello and welcome to this new episode of CIO Leadership Live Middle East. And welcome today to Manal Alam, Digital Data and IT Business Partner at Merck Group in the Middle East. Hello, Manal. How are you? Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's our pleasure. Manal, you are well known in the region. You have been senior IT leader for more than 25 years already. You have been awarded multiple times. But tell us a little bit more about you, what we don't know about you, about Manala Land. Did you always consider to work in IT?
Let me tell you a little bit of a background. I really call it my Genesis story. I am from Egypt. My grandparents were farmers, and they were not, owners of plantations or something. They were simple people. Education, basic education was enough. But there was an exception. The eldest uncle, my eldest uncle, he decided to pursue higher education, and then he became a teacher, and then headmaster in a school. For him, education was extremely important to the extent that he adopted my father because he wanted him, he saw something in him, and he wanted him to pursue education and find another alternative career. And he sponsored him exactly like his other children. And my father studied engineering in a very reputable university in Egypt. And that was the same way that my father raised us. He raised us that we are equal, boys and girls, the same. Education is very important, family values and
Mhm.
connections and support we give each other. I picked up engineering love and passion from my father. He used to study mathematics and physics with me when I was in school. And I guess that I felt like this engineering slash technology is something that I gravitate towards. And then after I graduated from university, technology and IT was a prominent field, and I felt like it's a logical continuation to the pre-existing passion that I have for engineering, math, and this bundle of topics.
I must admit that it's nice to hear. In the past, not everyone have the opportunity to study, so it's always nice to hear when you say from a farmer family, they work hard to give education to their kids, their grandkids, and it's amazing you took all of that. Going to another topic now, Manal. Pharmaceutical industry has been there for centuries. Pharma companies needed to adapt to the new world. Digital transformation, intensive use of technology, disruption. How are all of these concepts are assumed in the pharma industry?
Just like in the commercial world, there is a customer journey. In the medical world, there is a patient journey. The patient journey starts from preventing the disease. This is really the ideal scenario. And then, if we could not prevent the disease, then let's try to early detect it. And then we move on to the treatment and post treatment. Technology can intervene at each stage of the patient journey. Let's start with prevention. The AI and the genome and predictive AI models, they can allow us to predict behaviors of viruses and bacteria, and even predict people who are prone. They have genetic history where they can, or heredity tendencies for particular diseases.
Mhm.
AI is an integral part in the process of R&D, where you can actually make simulations. Let's say there is a particular environment. Let's simulate the virus behavior, how many people are going to be infected, and let's simulate the vaccine impact as well, and how it will reduce the infections. If we look at early detection, the advanced image processing and the machine learning, they can contribute to the accuracy of analyzing scans to the extent that the AI analysis of scans can outperform 7 out of 8 doctors. The AI can detect mutations in some of the cells, any abnormalities, and accordingly, if there is a disease, it can be captured at an early stage. Finally, when we look at treatment, the online collaboration tools that we have now, it allows doctors to do collaborative surgeries or advisory boards. This will contribute really to the advancement of the overall medical community, and it can be a teaching mechanism as well. The wearables is another technology. When you look at the pacemakers and the wearable devices like the Apple Watch, there are also devices that can detect the blood sugar, the hypertension, and even people who suffer from epilepsy. It can detect the episode that the person is having an episode, and they can call the caregiver to come and rescue the person. Brain-computer interface for artificial limbs. This is an amazing technology for people who are coming from wars or accidents. Now there are prototypes for AI nurse. They have been used in Italy during the pandemic in order to do basic tasks like measuring of the temperature and the blood pressure. So these are the things that we don't want the doctor to go close to the patient because we really want to preserve the doctors. There's also compassionate AI. It's technology that can be given to terminal people to remind them with medicines or to give them some counseling, because definitely especially if they don't have a caregiver with them.
As mentioned, we were talking about health, medicines. Do you think is it much more critical in this sector to be disruptive?
I think yes. When you look at all the medical technologies or advancements that we saw, they were disruptive. Maybe they didn't have an element of technology, but they were disruptive. Vaccines, transplant surgeries, the IV pregnancies, all of those things were breakthroughs, and of course, they were faced with a lot of skepticism. But without these disruptions, we will not have any kind of advancements. We need to be disruptive, and we need to take risks in a controlled way. And that's why we do have FDA approvals. We do have clinical studies that need to be done in a very robust and structured way. We have validation for technologies. So that's in the past, those disruptions were by the introducing of vaccines and new types of surgeries. Now the disruption is using technologies like the examples that we mentioned.
Digitalization involve it means a huge cost. How do you manage to convince senior management to bet on digitalization and make the investments?
The most important question that we need to answer whenever we consider a particular digital project is the why. What exactly this technology is going to add to our company. As of today, a lot of the technology solutions, they can create new products in the portfolio of the company. Like for an example, if you look at the metaverse, it's a new technology, but companies can select to be early adapters or even disruptors and shapers for the landscape of the industry. The metaverse, in theory, let's say you can create a factory or a manufacturing site in the metaverse, and then you can lease it to other companies who would like to produce their products.
Mm-hmm.
Metaverse is going to be very efficient because here it will include all the logic of how the machines in the factory will operate, and then using Internet of Things, the virtual world can manage the physical world, and it's going to be with minimal human interruptions. The metaverse also can be used for physical rehabilitation as well. So here it is very important that we incorporate technologies such that it adds value, whether this is a new product or a new service like telehealth, for an example, or telemedicine, or it's even used to differentiate our products. And then after that, there are also digital initiatives that can lead to cost reduction or process improvement or improving compliance level. So here it is extremely important to link the digital initiative to a particular value, and of course to add prioritization, because we cannot do everything at the same time.
Manal, digital twins, health applications, artificial intelligence, as you mentioned, and many new digital concepts are being tested in the pharma industry. Which one are particularly promising? Why is digitalization such a game changer?
I think that AI is really going to be a game changer. It will provide a lot of assistance to the doctor, because as of today, the modern doctor, they have a huge amount of data. They have the genome, they have clinical studies, they have the demographics and census, but then it becomes too much and overwhelming. They cannot really make sense or extract any insights out of this or even make predictions. That's why AI is going to be very important in the clinical studies, processing scans like we talked about, and prediction of the mutation or the progression of diseases, data mining. I do believe that when it comes to AI, the main challenge is going to be, first of all, integrating the data together. And then the second is the democratization of data. As of today, there are entities who believe that they own the data, and they don't share and they don't collaborate, and they do believe that data is an asset to them. But when it comes to medical data, this should be for the greater good. Nobody owns it.
Talking about sensitive data.
Yes. Here it needs to be for the greater goods, and it needs to be for to collaborate together in order to advance the medical science. Another technology that I believe is going to be a game changer is the blockchain, because this is going to advance the supply chain. Yeah, I think that this is it really.
Before we finish the interview, there is one more question that I would want to ask you. Manal, where do you see the pharma industry in the next, let's say, 5 years?
The medical landscape in general is going to be focusing on the long term. It's not going to be just one episode that we manage and then forget it and we move on. It's going to be more predictive and more personalized, that every person will have something that suits his or her condition or situation and lifestyle, many other aspects. Um, I do believe also that supply chain is going to differ a little bit, because as of today, or at least before COVID, um, there was high dependency on China and India for the manufacturing and supplying the raw materials. But during the pandemic, the physical movement was a little bit difficult. So I do believe that maybe in the 5 years, pharmaceutical companies are going to start to search for alternatives.
Thank you so
Um,
much. Oh, sorry. Is there anything else you would like to share with us?
Yes, I do believe that pharmaceutical companies are going to be more focusing on sustainability, on the green manufacturing. It is still an early topic, but I do believe that the pharma companies are going to lead other industries into the adoption of these principles.
Actually, now that you mentioned that, it will be really interesting to know more about this because we have COP28 here in the UAE this year. So definitely we are going to hear a lot about what every industry is doing in terms of sustainability and be greener. Manal, any last thing you would like to say?
Working in technology is really amazing. I love uh, I love this career. Maybe at the beginning, I was just influenced by my father, but whenever we implement a project and it goes live, I just have this euphoria that we can see the idea transformed into something. We can see it with our eyes, a process or a product. Um, I do believe that we as a humanity, we need to start thinking about how to ethically and responsibly utilize technology. Companies should not think only of the profit. They need to make money. Of course, they're not charity organizations, but they need to start thinking about the greater good and collaborate more with each other. Um, and if
I
we
hear
do
this
this,
many times already, so I know that everyone is concerned about how we educate the younger generation in order, for example, with such an AI or now with ChatGPT. So definitely, it's not only people who work in technology and not only a CIO who can talk about the ethics or the good use of these technologies. It's companies who develop these technologies who should help like parents or the younger generations because you work in technology, you know, but not everyone knows the right use of technology.
yeah, technology can unethically be used to sway the public opinion or transform false information or even integrate with the power balance or power players in the world. And I don't believe that technology should be used in the politics arena. It can improve our lives and it can take us to unfathomable location. Um, so thank you so much.
No, thank you, Manal, for sharing your experience, your family experience. Where do you come from? Why you love so much technology? Where the pharma industry is going. It's been really a pleasure to have you today with us at CIO Leadership Live Middle East. Thank you so much, Manal.
Thank you. Thank you. The pleasure was mine. Thank you so much.